Welcome to the 17th, I believe, video in my Making the Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable series. Before we begin, I will give a spoiler alert because I will be talking about game elements. And if you don't want to have those game elements spoiled, then this video is not for you. However, if you are like me and want to make your Ticket to Ride Legends of the West campaign replayable, then welcome. Before I get into the 1901 rules that I created, I first want to give you a tour of how my game box is set up. As I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, that with all the changes that I made to the game boards, it no longer fits into the original box. So I had to get creative in what I did. So in this tray here, in your game box, this is the tray where all the game board pieces were stored. This is actually now where I store all of my boxes that have the money and the track sticker magnets in it. It also stores the circus train stuff. It's where I keep the pencils. It's where I keep the dry erase markers. It's where I keep the stickers. Then in the game box itself, everything is pretty much the same. You know, I've got your trains over here. This is where your frontier boxes are. This is where your campaign boxes are. There, right here, there was a plastic thing in there. I used an X-Acto knife and I cut it out, and this is where I store my circus flyers. Right here is where I keep the robber, the ghost train, and the ghost eye. And in here is where I keep all the bags that have the track stickers, the company town stickers, the large city stickers, and all those other things. And of course, here is the conductor's toolbox. In the campaign box, I've got it set up here in the front. I have the divider cards for the 1901 rules that I created. Then of course the train cards and everything else. And then all of the divider cards for the storeroom are then here. Then your post office. And then back here is where all of the Mama O'Connell hunt stuff is. In my clipboard, inside the clipboard, down here I also have some storage where I can keep some of the dry erase markers and pencils if I want. But inside of here, like I said, this is where I keep the strips from the circus flyers that we use. I keep extra dots in here. It's where I keep the print-offs for the back of the company boxes. It's where I keep my 1901 rule book that I made up. It's where I keep the rule books for the campaign and the original 1901 rules that came. It is also where I store the sheet where I have my bank slips on. It is also where I store my maps, because I did print off one of these maps for everybody and put them in a plastic slip in case anybody would want one to help them try and find Mama O'Connell easier. I find it easier if I can actually have a map to look at. Then it's also where I store some game elements that I made for the 1901 game. Then in this thing here, this is where I store all of the game pieces. It does add a lot to your game because now you have a stack of things. But for me, I felt it was worth it because, like I said, I really enjoy playing the campaign and wanted to be able to play it again and again. I want to get my money's worth out of it. And I feel like I have, and I don't mind having the extra boxes and things that I have. So that's just a tour of how I did the games, the setup for all the game parts and pieces. And now in the next video, let's get into the 1901 rules.